Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. This is the Hermetic Herald, and I'm here with an addition to the Taylor Swift and Matty Healy reading that I did yesterday. That was on October 5th, 2023. You guys will likely receive this later the day of the 6th, so October 6th, 2023, or the 7th. I typically pre-record these messages, and I want you guys typically to know the date that I do it, because sometimes there are some astrological transits, things that are going on that day that might be impactful for the reading. So you guys know, those of you that have been here with me that understand my heart for this channel, know that I do not like to fake, to fabricate information. I don't like to, whenever I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't sound right, I scrap all of those readings. So for this reading in particular, the reason why I'm sharing this process that I have with you guys is because I considered very strongly scrapping this reading. The reason why was because you're going to see the reading that I did, and I feel very strongly that it's still accurate because my spirit team is saying, do it, just let them see it, let them see the reading. So you're going to see the reading in a bit, but I wanted to just tell you and kind of give you a heads up that there was something very interesting going on with this reading. Okay, so as you know, I just want to go into this. So I'm going to put timestamps so that you guys that are interested in understanding this fully will know what I'm talking about. We all have our ancestors. We have our spirit guides. We have our guardian angels, angels that come to us to help us in a certain period of time. We have people that come along our path on our spirit team that stay with us for 5 years, 10 years, our whole life. There are some that stay for a long period of time, and there are some that do not. My spirit team in particular, and Taylor Swift's in particular, were not gelling. So I'm going to just let you guys know that they had to tell me a couple of things about the dynamic between my team and her team. Matty Healy's ancestors, they're okay with me. So there's an energy of them being accepting that I'm coming in and asking these questions. They're very protective of him, as most ancestors are. However, I want to let you guys know that they had to tell me a couple of things before I posted this video. They want me to tell you guys, and they want me to be aware that he's going through a really tough time right now energetically, and therefore they're not going to commit to giving a lot of information that is going to be damning to him. They wanted to protect his energy, protect what is coming through, so I felt some stagnancy. And you're going to see why in the reading. You're going to see me sighing a lot or just saying, I don't know, I need to light some sage. It's because the energy was really tense between my team and their team. Taylor Swift's team does not play. Her ancestors, specifically a group of males, were really protective of her. They really wanted to set me straight before I did the reading. And I didn't listen, right? I was like, yeah, I'll do the reading, we'll talk. And then they were like, no, at the end of the reading, I want you to know that you actually need to remember to talk about the positive about her. And I typically like to look at the good, the light, and the dark attributes of all people, but they were like, hold up, you're a little unbalanced. So I accept their criticism constructively, and I've decided to let you guys know that if I seem harsh in any way in this reading, seem like I'm not happy, it's more so because I had to fight and push through something in regards to some boundaries, not pushing past their boundaries, but more so pushing past some confusion that was trying to come in. They were not willing to go very far, but I asked them, is it okay if I post this? Are you guys okay with me posting this? Is this cool? And they said, yeah, but we're not going to give you more. So that's that. So I'm just letting you guys know, likely I will not touch base with these two, because there's almost this energy of these two energies not liking each other either. Their spirit team does not really like addressing this topic with them together. And I feel like I need to be honest and upfront. You can either believe me or not believe me. But for those of you that have seen my track record, that see how I do these readings, that I don't like to be biased, I was feeling some tension in this entire reading, and I was frustrated as hell. So I'm not going to say that I was upset. I was just more so feeling uncomfortable with what was coming through. But let me just tell you guys that this reading was accurate in what they're saying. They said that it's accurate, but they're not going to give me more. Okay? And I just want to tell you guys that apart from what came through yesterday on the 5th of October, they said that they're willing to do a little bit more in regards to what their healing message is, because I did not include that earlier. So you're going to see me jump to the reading from the 5th of October, and then at the end of that reading, you're going to hear about their healing message. So this is going to require some editing, but you can kind of use this setup as a way of knowing this is from the 6th. The rest of the reading will be from the 5th, and then there's an ending that will be back to this screen. So I will see you guys at the end of the reading. What is up, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. This is the Hermetic Herald, here for another celebrity tarot reading. So I'm going to be doing a reading on Matty Healy and on Taylor Swift. Now, I know a little bit, very little on the situation between the two of them. I know more about, to be honest, more about FKA and Matty than I know about Taylor Swift and Matty. But I also do not have a preference between the two of them in terms of who I like more. It's more so I just know a little bit more about FKA Twigs in general. Otherwise, I do not really have much to say personally about how I feel towards the two of them. So I will come at more of an unbiased approach in the sense that I want to look at what the cards have to say, what my spirit team has to say, and then I let the cards speak. I go with their interpretation, but I will also mention any messages that come through clairaudiently. I am primarily clairaudient, claircognizant, so I will likely hear messages from them specifically in my ear and then tell you what I'm hearing. So I want to start off with a really quick spread, but then I want to get into more of the nitty-gritty. I may have to touch base with a number of decks, as I usually do. So let's just start off with the current spread here. What is the aura surrounding this current relationship? What is the aura surrounding this current relationship, Spirit? I'm hearing secondary. Okay, so this is not current. I'm just going to say that. I wrote current on this piece of paper. It's like a template spread here. So what is the aura surrounding this past situationship, relationship, this dynamic here? Spirit guides, angels, ancestors. I'm feeling this card. All right. What is the areas that need more attention, Spirit? What are the areas between them that needed more attention? What are their areas? What were their areas for growth? I feel like that's Matty's. What is Taylor's area for growth from this relationship? What should they pay closer attention to there? And then what was the end of the relationship like? Or what was the outcome of this relationship, I should say, in case we don't know what's going on and there's something else that we are not aware of here. So let's just start with that. What we have at the bottom of the deck is the Hierophant, the Two of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. So what I'm seeing here with these three cards is with the Hierophant, it's typically about a higher order or higher level of thinking, of community. It's about, when I look at this, I see the Pope, so I think of someone in power or someone that is looked up to. I feel like with hierarchy also comes romantic relationships and the desire for marriage, or at least the question of marriage is coming into play here with these three cards. So with that said, please do not assume that I'm trying to say they were going to get married. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here with this card is that there was this subject or concept of relationships, concept of what relationships should look like, what they should be, in the eyes of society. So there was a perception people had of these two individuals, and that bled into their dynamic here. So they want you guys to know that hierarchy was at play, gender roles, social, I'm hearing social cues were addressed and assessed between the two of them. I do not feel like they were interested in that. With the Two of Swords, that tells me they were indecisive or split. They had two separate personalities when they addressed hierarchy. So that means both of them had their own set beliefs, set core values, set perspectives that were differing. So this is what that tells me. The Ace of Cups tells me they were very passionate about what they felt. These two are very resolute already from the three cards at the bottom of the deck. So that tells me they both had different perspectives on this idea of hierarchy. So let's see what's going on here. Let's continue. What is the aura surrounding this current relationship here? We have the King of Pentacles. So the aura surrounding this relationship was more so about bounty. Usually the King of Pentacles, when I look at this for them, I feel like it's about your resources, because the Pentacles is about stability, practicality, efficiency. It's not really about emotions. When you see Cups, you'd say it's more of an emotional relationship or emotional connection. This is more practical. So with the King of Pentacles, I'm seeing a male sitting down. So it's feeling very, I don't know why. In this relationship, it feels really drab, is what I'm hearing. There was a lot of conformity in some way with regards to their potential together. It felt very stagnant and stiff. I'm going to tell you what I'm smelling, because I'm actually smelling something, which is not a gift that I use a lot, and I don't really feel like it's something that comes to me as easily. For some reason, that's coming through. It's a smell of like a really, like mothballs, if you guys think about that. I feel like this was a really like claustrophobic type energy. Richness usually is what the King of Pentacles means, but I'm seeing this dress as having some holes in it or something like that, because I'm seeing this for the first time completely different for this reading. So I feel like there was just an air of stuffiness with this relationship. For some reason, I was feeling like there was just more so, we relate to each other. We have a lot of valuable resources at our disposal. We have a lot individually. How can we put that together and create something? So I'm feeling almost the same thing with this, where it's coming into play as like the patriarchy. For some reason, that's coming through. So we'll see why that energy is coming through for them. I'm also seeing the word toxic. So let's see what's coming through. Let's continue. What is the areas that needed more attention when they were together? We have the Page of Swords, communication. The areas that need more attention was communicating with one another, not just going. It's like the need for there to be more depth with this relationship is apparent, because the Page is usually an energy of someone young, immature, flighty. This is a very flighty energy. It can come in really quickly, but it does not persist or strengthen. So something about that is coming through. Usually the Page of Swords is also about a contract. It's usually about the start of something, inspired action, okay? But it's not like as passionate as the Ace of Wands. So I feel like communication was very immature. That was what needed more attention. They needed to have more depth in their communication with one another. They needed to actually talk about their goals, what they really wanted to see long term. More of an interest, even if they didn't know what they wanted long term, as some relationships are like. I feel like they didn't have much emotional depth with regards to their healing process, to regards to their experience spiritually, mentally. There was not much going on. It was very simple and light, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so with that in mind, let's keep going. What are their areas for growth together? What is Matty's area of growth with this relationship? Was the Seven of Wands. He needed to put his foot down more. I'm getting that Matty wasn't really that strong of an energy in the sense of being very oppressive. I feel like he was more so just having a really hard time with putting his foot down and standing his ground. He was very easily swept, I'm hearing, by her, or swept up in her. It feels like the energy of someone who's like flighty. He feels like a really flighty energy. And when I see the Page of Swords, it feels like it's mostly from him. The lack of communication, the lack of depth to the relationship, or whatever this dynamic was between them. Yeah, I'm just getting that areas for growth was either just being more solid as a person, more solid on his own footing. I feel like he wavered. I'm hearing wavering. So what's Taylor's area for growth? We have the Knight of Pentacles. She needed what this relationship and dynamic needed was not only for him to be firm and solidly planted, but was for her to be more consistent and also to be more faithful to something with him, because I feel like she wasn't as faithful. She wasn't the Knight of Pentacles, which means that she wasn't someone who was looking at this from a long-term perspective. This was not something that she was seeing going the distance. It's not something that she felt like was that. And I'm hearing at all. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to pretend to say that this is up in the air. It could be this, it could be that. What I'm getting right off the rip and what I got from the beginning was a stuffy energy from these two. More so about like proper etiquette is what I'm hearing. Like etiquette on how to do, I'm hearing procedures. How to go about something in a way where it looks pleasing, but they were both very different. Two of Swords makes me feel like one had a sword, each of them had their own respective sword, and they were very passionate about said sword and how they acquired it. It's like, my sword is better, how's your sword? And they're like, I don't know, let's weigh them together and look at them. They're very childlike and immature energy coming through. All right, what should they pay closer attention to here? What should they have paid closer attention to is the King of Wands and the Ace of Swords. They should have paid closer attention to clarity. Ace of Swords is all about clarity, about communication that is very direct, and also about the King of Wands acting on what they feel or acting on what they're seeing with the relationship and their dynamic. It seems like there wasn't like someone that was like leading, and I don't feel like that has to be like a thing. But I feel like if two people are kind of passive, while, you know, one person is not really standing very strong as they needed to be, and one's not being very faithful or consistent, it feels like they're both kind of just flitting around and kind of just, their energy together, guys, just gonna be real, is very like whimsical. It's almost like, hey, let's just put ourselves together and see what happens. I don't know, it just feels really I don't want to be mean, but I feel like that's coming through really strongly. They have very strong very strong perspectives. It just did not mesh. And I feel like what they needed was clarity and direction and action, okay, towards something. Like, what is this going to be? What are we trying to make? And I don't know. It's just interesting. I'm hearing deaf, like someone was not listening to learn. It was like they were just like, Like when one person would speak about something like, yeah, that deadline, it's coming at some point, isn't it? But they never truly got something up and moving. For some reason, that's coming through. What is the most likely outcome, and what was the outcome of this? Was the Seven of Cups? Okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't know what cards were going to come through, but the energy is the same. Seven of Cups is about indecision. It's about also having a lot of like illusions. There are some illusions here. Let's clarify. So why was the aura surrounding them the King of Pentacles, Spirit? We have the Hangman in reverse. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Chariot in reverse. Wow. That's stagnant energy. That's two people kind of, I'm hearing like two-ply. How do you guys feel about two-ply? Think about two-ply and think about like bounty. I don't know, or like, I don't know why Spirit's giving me like toilet paper, but like I feel like they're trying to say like this wasn't strong. This was really sporadic, and this was more so like just a very quick decision that was placed together with two-ply. Wasn't very strong, wasn't very solid. And when I say two-ply, I mean toilet paper, not wood. This is about like them feeling really like iffy about each other with the Four of Cups. Just look at this card, guys, because I'm not making this up. Four of Cups is like someone who's literally just staring, who's not even staring at this person that's bringing them the cup, if you guys can see it. If this thing will like ever let you. Yeah, they're just kind of like, I don't want it. No thanks. It's a very like very flippant energy, like they're not interested. The Hangman in reverse is what gets me, because I feel like the Hangman is usually like, let's think about it. There was no thinking, there was just acting. More so like there wasn't a plan in place. Usually the Hangman, when it's upright, it tells me that that person's taken time to see something from another perspective, but these two have not. The Chariot in reverse tells me where they weren't moving. we have the Page of Cups and the King of Wands. They had a lot of playfulness about each other. So I want to mention that for sure. This is not founded on just stagnancy. This is also founded on just a childlike wonder and a sexual drive. Because I'm seeing the King of Wands. So there was like attraction there. There was interest there. There was also the Page of Cups, which is like childlike wonder. Like they resonate with each other. But there wasn't much in terms of this being something more. This felt like I'm hearing a facade. Which is interesting to hear because it feels as though there were childlike feelings towards them, like sweetness surrounding them, playfulness, flirtatiousness, but it wasn't like very strong. The Hierophant is here again, guys, as well as Death. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense for this energy. It feels as though Death was at their door with regards to this being something long-term. So let's keep going. Let's keep it moving. What are the areas that need more attention here? I don't know why I'm hearing Harley. What are the areas that need more attention? I don't know if Matty Healy has like a Harley that's coming through. Okay. So for his side, we had, as we mentioned earlier, the Seven of Wands, needing to be more resolute, needing to stand up and stand his ground. We have the Six of Swords clarifying that, as well as Judgment. Yeah, he never made a call. So he needed to make a call with regards to this, but I feel like he was stuck in some form of bondage with the Devil. He felt like he was tied in some way and he couldn't make a final judgment call with regards to this relationship. He almost felt like he was at the whim of Taylor or at the whim of someone else. And I feel like he also was keeping this up on purpose. So with the Devil, the Seven of Swords, and the Eight of Wands, this was about lies being told. So he wasn't very solid in terms of the relationship because he felt like he had to lie. Or he felt like he had to keep up some facade. I keep getting the facade energy coming through over and over and over again. I'm feeling this card and I want to show you guys before I get it. The King of Coins. I'm getting the King of Pentacles again, guys, in another deck. King of Pentacles is usually the energy of someone who is receiving some kind of wealth. And I'm feeling like this is monetary conflict. He was conflicted a bit with regards to keeping this up or keeping up appearances. I feel like he had to lie about this on purpose. Is this what happened, Spirit? I just want a card to clarify. Like, is this what's going on here? I'm just feeling like, yeah, I'm getting the Queen of Cups, the Nine of Cups. This is definitely what was going on here. Two of Swords is here. That means that he was split up and we had that come in. Yeah, indecisiveness. Okay, so with that considered, let's move on into Taylor's energy here. So let me just take all of this stuff out. So I want to make sure I can reuse these cards somehow. Taylor's energy. Let's see, with the Knight of Pentacles, please clarify the Knight of Pentacles for us. What's going on with regards to the area that needed more attention between these two? Why is the Knight of Pentacles here? Spirit guides, angels, ancestors. We have one card here, the Two of Cups. Okay, so the Two of Cups is here, and I'm feeling this card here, the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. And also the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. So to clarify the fact that she felt like she wasn't feeling very sure because this is what she needed to be, way more faithful, more diligent, more slow and steady with this relationship. The reason why she wasn't as slow and steady with this relationship was the Two of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. So Two of Cups is usually about like a really destined relationship or a soulmate connection. This is someone who really resonates with you very deeply. I feel like Spirit's trying to say that she looks for the Two of Cups in relationships long term. She would only be in this energy, slow and steady with a partner, when she feels like they can work together, because Eight of Pentacles is about your work relationships, your work, your dynamic with chipping away at certain aspects of career, certain aspects of any relationship, like working on getting things done or on addressing a foundation. You need to work on a foundation in order for there to be something that has proper footing. She wasn't seeing herself long term with him, because when I see the 10 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Cups, this is what I would say sums up a long-term relationship. Feeling like this person is just a part of you, with the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, like your family, having this sense that you're knitted together, that you guys are going to want to create together with regards to family, or even like in a number of ways. You can feel like someone is home to you or family. It doesn't have to involve kids, but this is about like working on something tirelessly, working on something hard. And I feel like she was not in that energy towards him, because she needed to be in this energy for this relationship to work. I hope that makes sense. So this card is representative of someone who is more consistent, and she was not willing to be that, because those 3 things were not found in this relationship. She felt more so 2 of Pentacles, which is usually when you're trying to find balance, regain balance in your life, in your emotional state. 3 of Wands is about trying to act on something you want to create. Like, I feel like he was a means to an end. He was a means to receive the love that she was looking for, a means to receive the devil energy, which is gratification in some way. And he was a means to communication. That was very, I'm hearing frivolous. Like, you know, when you just talk the shit, like you just talk to talk. I feel like that was the energy. It was the energy of someone who can talk, and you can talk to them and you can move on. More so like a very easygoing relationship where you can still talk to someone, but it's surface level. It's not as strong, which is what we got earlier. So Spirit's confirming that again. Okay, so that's what we have for her as for what areas Taylor needed to focus on if this relationship were to last. So this is all hypothetical stuff. Like, what would have been really helpful is if he had been a little bit more headstrong, a little bit more defensive, a little bit more like focused on, yeah. I feel like their connection was like almost like they had a camaraderie with each other with the 6 of Cups and the 2 of Wands, and they made plans together. So this is a strategic relationship. This was more so centered on feel-good emotions. Like, they feel like they have no beef with each other. They feel okay with each other. They understand each other to some measure, but the depth of it is the question. So I want to see what else is coming through. Next one we have here was the question on what are their areas for growth together. Okay, what their areas for growth together, or what they should pay closer attention to. With the King of Wands, Spirit, please clarify the King of Wands energy. We have the 7 of Cups, the 7 of Wands, and we have the 6 of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands. So we're getting a lot of 7s. Interesting, 7-7 here. So this is about standing your ground and standing on the basis of your options. They both knew that they had options here. So the energy of what they should have paid closer attention to were their options, and on what foundation they wanted to form with this relationship. It feels like they just felt up in the air about a lot of things, and I feel like what they did was they found balance in communicating their stance. Their stance was the 7 of Cups. This was about having illusions about a person, illusions about what you would want. It wasn't quite clear and distinct. There wasn't a lot of communication, guys. When I see the Page of Swords in the beginning, which is the areas that needed more attention, I feel as though they should have been communicating about that more. Interesting. Yeah, the 10 of Cups, they were okay with that though. 10 of Cups means there was harmony with regards to not communicating stuff. Keeping things going with the 9 of Wands, of being resilient and just kind of moving forward. King of Cups. King of Cups is usually about feeling emotionally fulfilled with something or contented with something. Interesting. There's like a whole bunch of cards that came out, but the 2 that came out were the 5 of Swords here and the Knight of Cups. They were both trying to be very like forceful with regards to love between the two of them. They were like trying to maintain dominance over each other in some way. Like they found each other, you know what I'm feeling? I feel like they found each other as like worthy opponents. So they felt like challenged by each other. They felt like they both were very strong energies, but I don't think they meshed very well together. It wasn't very intuitive with the High Priestess in reverse. It's not like a bad thing inherently at all, because it feels more like a camaraderie of opposition. Like I agree on, I feel this way about this thing, you feel this way about this thing. Let's see what we can do with it. And I feel like that was the issue here. Two of Swords again. Okay. So the energy is starting to feel like more stagnant. So I'm going to keep it going by lighting some sage. Okay, because I want these messages to be clear, and I feel like it's just not as clear, or I'm not hearing as many people, which is like usually their spirit team is like I hear more people, but for some reason there's not as many coming through. And I want to hear them. I'm like, come on. Of course, you can't force anyone to speak. Spirit, what else are you trying to say here? So I feel like there's more to the story, and I feel like this is too predictable. I don't really like the predictability of certain things. I really want to know like more than just the predictability of it. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, because I feel like this energy is so stagnant. Spirit guides, angels, ancestors, what would you like to say about all of this? Okay. What is your advice for these two? Can you give me a couple of cards on that? What is your advice for Taylor, and as far as in the height of their relationship, or the height of when they were seeing each other, talking to each other, engaging with each other, what was your advice for them then? Let's just get like a baseline. The energy is gaining momentum. What's interesting is it came out in reverse, and then we also have bring love into the situation. Is there anything else here? And we also have the answers you need are coming, and a new start is coming, as well as emotions are running high. So I feel almost like this was a way, it's interesting, I'm getting the sense that this was like kind of like a way on the road of their lives. They met and they intersected. The energy between them was very interesting, and they felt like I'm hearing a vibe. They felt good about meeting each other. The thing with that though is that they were trying to bring love into the situation with each other. They were resonating with each other in some regard. They were looking for answers on what to do moving forward, but I feel almost like a tinge of sadness, or a tinge of like heartache, heartbreak was affecting this new start. I feel like their emotions were running high because they weren't addressing and assessing their emotions. Here on the bottom of the deck here is the Three of Swords, and I was getting the Three of Swords earlier, and I had to pause. I was like, I feel like the question of this being something came up, but I feel like they almost ignored the pain, and therefore ignored the cause of, it's like they ignored what their heart was telling them about their respective pain. I'm feeling like it's on both sides. And I feel like what they did is they focused in on work a lot more than this relationship, to cover or to mute the pain in some way. Spirit, can you please clarify what is, let's just get into some more questions. What is Matty Healy's external vibe towards Taylor Swift? What is Matty Healy's external vibe towards Taylor Swift here? What is Matty Healy's external vibe, Spirit? External vibe, how he presented his feelings to the public. What were his internal feelings towards her? We have two cards there. And then what was Taylor's feeling? Feeling this third card is for him as well. What was Taylor's external feeling towards him? These are just jumping, so that's good. What was her internal vibe with Matty? she had a lot of thoughts towards him, guys, because a lot of things turned over, but they didn't come out of the deck, which tells me that she thought about them, but they're not the best of what could come through. So I'm going to take all of them. All right, so his external vibe, let's start off with that, was the Eight of Swords towards her. He made it seem as though externally to everyone else, he was unsure, he was confused, and he was stuck. I feel almost like she was the person that likely asked him about the relationship and about starting something, but he felt up in arms about it or felt confused. Not up in arms because he didn't have any arms. This person is usually, when the Eight of Swords comes in, they're tied down. He felt tied down. He felt confused. He felt fear, and I'm hearing he felt befuddled. That was his external vibe and how he wanted things to be perceived. He wanted you to perceive him as being stuck. How did she feel externally towards him? Seven of Cups as an option. The Seven of Cups is usually about having a number of options that you can play with. Interesting. Not good energies to feel, but internally, let's see what really is going on. How did he see her? He saw her as the Tower, the Page of Wands, and Death. He saw her as a means to an end. He saw her as someone that could help him move out of a really turbulent situation, and also someone who is inspiring, is what I'm getting. Okay. Okay, so let's look at what Taylor Swift's internal feelings towards him was. We have the Six of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Hermit. Wow. So this is really different. I'm hearing visceral. It's like almost really different and stark in contrast to see his side feeling stuck and confused and conflicted with Death, the Page of Wands, and the Tower. Seeing that she was a really pivotal part of him transitioning and moving on into something else. And then for her to have the Six of Cups, to see him as a soulmate relationship, to see a really strong connection and bond with him. It feels, and also a very transformative, and it helped her see something in her journey with him that she wouldn't have seen elsewhere. I feel like he brought something out of her with the Hermit card. It made her look inward at herself. The end of this relationship and just his energy being around him helped her see something new from this relationship, from this dynamic here. In herself, I feel like. So I feel like her inner compass, it was really assisted by, specifically by his involvement in her life, by Matty's involvement. Whether that be for like, you know, in terms of good or bad, it could be that she learned some valuable lessons with him. But this also feels like with the Six of Cups, this is someone she's nostalgic with, she feels like a camaraderie with, and feels like a friendship with, like, or a deep connection with, regardless at the end of the day. That's what's coming through. What is their healing message with regards to this relationship? Let's get into, actually, before we get into what's healing and what they're addressing, let's look at, was this a PR relationship? Spirit guides, angels, ancestors, was this a PR relationship? I feel like there's more than one card coming through. Was this a PR relationship? Is there anything else? Okay, there's 3 cards. So the first card we have for the question of whether this was a PR relationship is a Chariot in reverse. Then we also have the Eight of Cups. And then we have the Knight of Swords. So this was a mutual agreement between the two of them to move on into calmer waters, into a more fulfilling emotional relationship. This was actually a means to getting to, it's like they needed to let off some steam or to allow themselves to stop and to reflect on what they feel and of the emotions they experienced in the past before they met. So this is about this relationship allowing them to see something in regards to their feelings towards each other. I feel like they took this as a resting stop. This relationship felt like a rest stop. They knew that this was not going to be something long-term or last. It was something rather that would help them see something in themselves. So they were willing to reflect on whatever was happening, and they were going with the flow. And I feel like they were expecting to deal with this Three of Swords in reverse, this heartbreak that was not going away. I'm hearing retroactive. So it felt like they were addressing some pain that they both were feeling mutually with the Moon card and then the Queen of Pentacles. So they were trying to be very like resourceful. We have the Queen and King of Pentacles here, two people that are being very like practical about this whole thing. They're not coming from a place of like long-term longevity. It was more so we're two independent people with the Nine of Pentacles here, which is about independence, about having your own empire, your own business, your own lane. And they both decided to intersect lanes in order to learn some major lessons here with the Hierophant again. Yeah, so as far as whether this was a PR relationship or not, I'm getting the Sun and the Page of Swords as well, which tells me this was more so an enlightening relationship. This doesn't mean Ace of Wands and Lovers. I don't think this was a PR relationship. I think this was more so an interest between the two of them that took on a form. They both were conspiring to learn something deeper about what it was that they lost in their past, respectively, and they decided to come together. I don't feel this is a PR thing. This feels more like they wanted to explore and they wanted to be both like informed. I feel like both of them both felt very informed, and they felt, I'm seeing the Five of Cups. They were feeling a lot of sadness, guys. I feel like they decided to come together and to partner up to address that and to maybe like find some solace in each other. But let me just make sure, Spirit, is that what you're saying with this message here? With a yes or no card? Is that what you're saying here? We have one card coming through and it's the Nine of Swords in reverse. So the Magician is here, the Star is here, and the Ace of Pentacles. They wanted to feel something for once and not feel just sadness all the time. They're telling me a story rather than giving me a clear-cut answer, which means that their will was involved with this. They decided on it, and it was something that was, it wasn't completely PR. It was more so like this was their truth and this is their agreement. This is more of a karmic agreement than an actual physical agreement. This was something they decided to do, but it was something that they decided on their own without the involvement of PR. That's what I'm feeling. So I feel like there's layers to this story, but that's what I'm seeing here already. So Spirit Guides, Angels, Ancestors, now that we kind of gathered this information on what this was, or at least what was going on emotionally with them at the time, what is the bottom line about this dynamic between these two? We have one card flipping, Strength. It was about showing their their strength on both sides. They're both very strong people. I feel like they're both very determined to succeed, to move forward when they were in pain, when they were feeling pain from each side with regards to love. And I feel like they just wanted to meet each other. They wanted to speak. They didn't want to go into depth too deeply. They just wanted to focus in on their individuality. And that's what this relationship was. And they were fine with it. But he had to project that he wasn't. He had to project that he was confused or trying to run away from people finding out. But in reality, they were very much set on just making this something that was healing, or at least cathartic. They didn't have to address healing stuff like information about what happened in each of their lives, but they had some youthful, childlike energy between the two of them. Very fun, and they wanted to just live. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope this answers your question on what's going on between these two. Like and share and subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Take care. So to end our reading, I wanted to come on here and light some sage once more, clear up the energies in the space. Sometimes I like to do this not just because I like to be showy, but it's because I feel as though there's some energies that need to be cleansed constantly with this reading. This reading is very, the spirit team of the people involved, of Taylor Swift and Matty Healy. I need to make sure that I cleanse this energy, because they're very also sensitive in how they approach the topic. Okay, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a boundary thing. So with this reading, I want to go into towards the now that we're at the end, I want to touch base on their healing message. What did Taylor Swift address in regards to her healing process through this relationship with Matty Healy? Can I have 2 cards, Spirit? The top 2, Spirit team of Taylor Swift. Please help me understand what 2 things she healed in this relationship, or what she addressed. We have number 10, burden. Spirit team of Taylor Swift, can you please provide us with an understanding of what she was healing and psychic development? Okay. Spirit team of Matty Healy, Matty Healy's ancestors and spirit team, please guide us in understanding what he was healing. We have 1 there already, and then we have another coming through, but I feel like he has 3. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, spirit team. So at the bottom of the deck, we have letting go. So these 2 are learning to let go. Number 10 tells me that with burden, Taylor Swift was healing a sense of, I'm hearing entitlement. She felt like some people felt entitled to her energy, entitled to her love life, and she felt a burden on her shoulders. I'm also feeling a card coming through for her that I'm looking at across the room. This is an archetype that seems to be coming through for her. Healer. Wow, so that matches or meshes very well with this reading. We're talking about healing right now, and the healer archetype is here. So for her, she was trying to, it's like I'm seeing the imagery of this person's hands over this person's head. And I feel like she was almost like, it's like either her spirit team was holding her and kind of just trying to facilitate healing through this relationship with her, trying to get her body to truly feel all of the things that it was meant to in order to address this relationship, if that makes sense to you guys. I'm just getting those words coming through. So I feel as though they were facilitating healing for her. And I feel almost like she had migraines during this time, or had headaches. She had some pain that was manifesting in certain ways, and I feel like it was coming from a place of pain from a past relationship. So I don't quite remember her timeline, so that's actually a blessing in a sense, because I don't want to assume things with this reading, but I'm hearing tower. So she had like a tower going on, a tower moment, some upheaval with regards to meeting Matty, and I feel as though there was a burden on her shoulders, and she was starting to allow her spirit team to facilitate that healing. I also feel like she can be very healing as well with her energy, and I feel like she needed to dote on herself and to put that healing onto herself, because she was going through a great burden with regards to this relationship here. So for this one, I want to look at the card, the message for the card, number 10. 10 is also a number about that references a new beginning. So this kind of helped her reflect on her past in order to start anew. So number 10. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. We see it as the ultimate sacrifice. We take on another's or others' burdens to save them the trouble or heartache. Ironically, the way energy in the universe works makes this a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lessons circumvented will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. This is not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This is the separation one can feel from Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. Your relationships can then be based on truth and not manipulation. So if you guys saw the beginning of my reading, the beginning that I inserted from the 6th, from today, I would recommend going back to look at that, because I feel as though their spirit team is trying to say that in the relationship, Taylor Swift tried to take on more than she could bear. She tried to take on the burden of trying to help Matty heal, and with the healer archetype coming through, I feel like she was trying to facilitate healing on his end, healing him of his burdens, and trying to come in and be a good friend and to be someone that would encourage him to let go. So between the two of them, she was the one that was coming in more psychically developed, more aware and inept at looking at the issues and addressing them. So she felt quite a burden on her shoulders for him. This is feeling like the Ten of Wands energy, which is usually like the energy of something that needs to be taken off of your shoulders. I feel like she had to have this heavy weight taken off because it was not hers to bear. It was not meant for her to bear. And this is why I feel as though their spirit team, with conjunction with mine, I feel as though they felt uncomfortable talking about this. I feel like that's why her energy comes through as more protective. Her spirit team, her ancestors, specifically some male ancestors that I was getting in the beginning, if you guys go back to the intro. But her ancestors really want to protect her peace, and I feel like Matty did not preserve that or honor that, and that is why this energy is coming through. So let's move on. Let's go to psychic development. We have the energy and healing work that you are doing now will enable you to heighten your sensitivity to the energy around you and others. This will assist you in developing discernment. Discernment is the feeling you get in your body that signals to you whether something feels right or wrong, your sixth sense, your gut feeling. The situation you are inquiring about is asking you to use your discernment. You do not want to take on others' energy. Hint, hint, right? This is what we've been saying, basically. Yeah, you do not want to close yourself off out of fear. Envision energy flowing through you like water. Take on too much and you can sink. Closing yourself off offers a very different energetic experience. When you let the water energy flow as it will and neither embrace it or fight it, you are truly in the flow. Remaining at this elevated energetic vibration will allow you to tap into the realms of the psyche. Alternatively, this card can signify a pull to take classes, workshops, or read books about psychic development. So she was growing in her psychic development, and I feel like she could tell that this energy was oppressive to her. It was not helping her grow. She felt stagnated in some way, and she had to let this go. So they both decided to let go of one another when they began to feel that the relationship was becoming either codependent or it was becoming stagnant. That is coming through really strongly here. She feels a lot more in tune right now. I feel as though during the time that they were together, which is what this is also about. This is about what were they healing while they were together. So she was healing the need to be there for other people, but not for herself as much. And I think that's what's coming through strongly. For him, we have divine timing, abundance, and teaching coming through. Number 3, 4, and 5. So that's about sequential order. He had to come to grips with certain things in order. He had to recognize divine timing was at play when they met. He had to then address his abundance and what he perceived to be abundant, because I feel like he felt very poor in some respects. And I feel like he even felt poor in respects to Taylor, almost felt less than. And I feel as though his abundance was in question here. His confidence in himself. Like, does he feel like he's an abundant person, or does he feel like he's trash? For some reason, trash is coming through, or feeling like he's not enough. That was another thing that he had to deal with. We also have 14 coming right after 13. Just want to show you guys. 13, 14. It taught him some valuable lessons. So I feel like this was a fated relationship or a fated dynamic between them. Let's just ask the question. I feel like they were very good companions, first and foremost. I feel like they were good friends, but I feel as though it almost took on an oppressive energy for Taylor to take on his energy in general. It was a lot. So I feel this card here, I feel this card here, and I feel this card here. What was this relationship really? We have Justice at the bottom of the deck, balanced, or rather there was a need for balance or karmic retribution here. The 5 of Wands and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so with the Justice card, the 5 of Wands and the Ace of Cups, that feels as though there was this need for balance, but they were feeling very conflicted about said balance that they were trying to establish. of addressing their emotions, their fears, their past relationships, or the hurts that were acquired there. There was a lot of passion, but it feels as though there was some things that were in contention with that, namely their balance. They needed to regain balance in this relationship. With the bottom of the deck being letting go, struggle, and transformation, that's telling me that they were growing rapidly. And I feel as though they were learning really key lessons, key points to their relationships prior, like understanding their relationships prior and what had gone south and why. And they were trying to let go together. It just was too much for Taylor to commit to and to submit to, in a way. We're getting 3 cards for Matty and Taylor's relationship, like what the dynamic was, and we're getting the Wheel of Fortune. This feels like something that was done by chance. I feel like they saw each other from afar. They were like, hey, we resonate with each other, we're playful, we're very young in our energies, very free. Let's see what we can do with this dynamic. And I feel like they were more so a fun energy, but there was not that much seriousness, as I mentioned in the beginning. So their spirit team is committing to what they said in the reading prior, what you guys saw, and that this was an opportunity for them, and they took the opportunity. This was literally something that came to they literally came out of, like, it feels like almost like it was a fated event. It was meant to happen in order for them to see something. And the dynamic of these two wasn't easy on Taylor, especially, but I feel as though Matty learned a lot about his abundance and how he perceives it, as well as teaching. I want to read number 30, Divine Timing. So let's see if we can get that here. How often do you feel that you want things in your life to change now? Not 2 years from now, not 2 months, but right this instant. Seldom do we see the whole picture of why our lives are unfolding the way they are. We don't need to. What we need to do is surrender to the way things are right now. This doesn't mean not to take action when a situation is untenable. What it means is to let your life unfold before you so that you have access to all the information, all the lessons, and all the people you will need to go. But you will need to go where you are headed. Divine timing is at work in this situation. Try not to fight it. Instead, go within during meditation and ask the questions you want answers to. Why not now? How can I best prepare myself? What lessons do I need to learn prior to the change I want to see? You will get answers. So he was asking God, asking the universe. He was asking the universe and saying, why? Why does this happen in my relationships prior? When he was feeling really hurt by a past relationship, it was like he was trying to look at his abundance, and he was wondering if it was truly enough for him. Like, why aren't I enough? Why aren't others enough for me? What am I looking for? What is my abundance truly? Because I feel as though he had a lack mentality in some way. You can have all the money in the world. I like to say this. You can have all the money in the world and still be lonely, still be sad, still be unhappy, because abundance comes in many forms. And I feel like he was lacking, or feeling like he was lacking. He truly was abundant in and of himself if he got to know himself on a deeper level. But I feel like there were some roadblocks to being connected to himself in a greater way. So divine timing was definitely at play with these two. Is there an attribute that you would like to use, spirit teams of Matty Healy, to describe him? Okay, so we have one coming through. We have Don Juan. So he was the Don Juan energy to Taylor Swift's healer energy. He was more so positive and seductive, more so playful with her, and she was more of the serious one between them. But look at this, guys. We have femme fatale. So these two were also utilizing their seductive energy between each other. This relationship was more so centered on more of a seductive energy. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I want to get into what their ancestors are saying. Taylor Swift's ancestors, the fathers, the male figures here that have been present in this reading and in prior readings. Please assist me in understanding what message you have for her. Find your voice. So they want to show us that she's finding her voice continuously. She does have a voice, but there's something about her expressing herself in a deeper measure, opening up in a deeper measure, and expressing life a lot more. They really admire her ability to express herself, her ability to find her voice. she always, something that they want you guys to know, they're very proud of her. So I'm going to just share one thing that they're telling me. I'm getting the sense that they're very proud that she's an outspoken individual, and that also she's an outspoken feminine energy as well, because I feel like these masculine ancestors didn't see that in their lifetime. They're very proud of her for being that way. They want people to know that. We also have treat your body well. They want to advise her to treat her body well. This came out in another reading for her where she was not taking care of herself, and it's coming out again. So this is an ongoing situation where she does not put herself first, energetically speaking, when she gives. She gives a lot of herself to people. And I feel like she needs to take the time to meditate, to take the time to get a massage, take the time to take care of her own body first and foremost. We also have reconnect with Mother Earth. So there's something about masculine energy taking a hold on her experience. I feel as though she doesn't have a lot of feminine energies, strong feminine energies in her own ancestry that are being presented to me. It's mostly masculine. So I don't know if there's something about the feminine not being expressive enough, and her expressing for all of them, but they want her to shine brightly. So they're very proud of her. But I feel as though she needs to reconnect with her feminine energy as well, or reconnect with more of it. There's more to come about with regards to her energies. Masculine and feminine are powerful both. And I feel as though she needs to just allow herself to be powerful and to express both aspects of herself. I feel like she's more in her masculine than anything. She goes between the two, because we all have to express a little bit of each, but there's a lot more to come with regards to her feminine energy. With Matty Healy's spirit, ancestors of Matty Healy, I'm hearing penguin. I don't know why. Maybe he just likes penguins, but they're telling me that. What is your advice for Matty, ancestors? They want him to teach and share, and we had the card teaching come out. He's going to learn, as he's learning these lessons, he's going to be able to share them with other people and to teach other men about the importance of resourcefulness, of abundance, of bringing abundance to a relationship, of respecting your partner. Despite what you may think of Matty Healy, I feel like he's going to be learning a lot. And he's also going to be instructing a lot, educating people a lot. I feel like he's going back to the basics. He's going to need to go back to the basics with regards to how he perceives his experiences, and he needs to consolidate them. He needs to center himself, center his mind, and begin to see that all of these signs and synchronicities are not to hurt him or they're not to judge him, but more so to show him that there are things he's learning, and he needs to take all of these lessons in stride and then make something better out of it. We also have laugh and have fun, but at the same time, don't forget to smile, Matty. Don't forget the positive energy, the joyfulness. I feel as though his ancestors are so sweet. His ancestors are very sweet, and I feel like his past loved ones are very close to him because I can feel them. I don't know if there's one named Rosa or another named Joy, but those two are coming to mind. There's more that want to come through. He needs to connect with his loved ones, because I feel like he has more so recent people in his family that have recently passed that want to connect with him. They want him to really have fun, to enjoy life, and then to let things kind of come together. When it comes to like opening up to the basics, I feel like he just needs to let himself take what matters most out of everything. I feel like he can be a bit critical of himself. And I feel like they want him to not be so hard on himself, but to allow himself to learn and to grow and to recognize that that the basics aren't intrinsically bad. It's not bad to have to go back to the basics of a situation and why things happened the way they did. He's meant to teach younger people down the road. Is there an attribute that you'd like to show me, Spirit? That would, ancestors of Matty Healy, that would help us understand what he's meant to teach. Okay. Yeah, child magical, the belief that everything is possible. He really needs to help children see the potential that they have. I feel like he has something to do with potential. There's something with regards to children that might come into his future that'll be really nice for him. It'll help him open up to his inner child more in a healthy way, and also to see how he can impact other people in a positive way, not a negative way. I feel like everything is possible, and I feel like he has this ability to simplify his lessons and to come into this with a new perspective. He has, you and your loved ones are safe. So if Matty ever sees this by any chance, his loved ones on the other side, his ancestors, want him to know that they're happy and that they're safe, and that he needs to release them in some form. What I mean by release is not forget. It's more so let what happened happen, and know that they're not truly gone. I don't know. Someone needs to tell him that. If you guys know about this reading or know him, prosperity lies ahead, Matty. They want you to know that there's so much better ahead for you, and that your loved ones are safe. Don't worry about us. Don't feel like you're damned, or that we're not happy or disapproving of you. We're not. We're very proud of you. Nothing is yet set in stone, Matty. Your commitment's being tested. If a commitment doesn't last, it's not something that you should beat yourself up about. Some things just come to show you something in life, and it seems as though he needs to it's like he needs to face some really deep truths about the relationships he's had in the past. But he's making progress with your work is paying off. Your hard work is paying off. So I feel like his emotions are running really high right now, and he's trying to find balance. I think simplifying and just kind of seeing that every experience wasn't a waste of time will help him come into this prosperity ahead. He's going to consolidate a lot of these experiences and understand the silver lining in them. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope this helps you understand these two a bit better. I had to come on here, as I mentioned in the intro, because I had more to say, and I also had a very important note to mention in the beginning of the reading with regards to what their spirit team was doing and what I needed to do after the reading. So I hope this helps. Please like, share, and subscribe for more, and also check out my exclusive content and personal readings in the description box below. I hope you take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.